Hello and welcome back to the Beefy Tech channel. I'm sure most of you that are watching are aware that I have a 7950X3D, but I do also have a 13700K, and I've recently been looking towards getting a Hynix A-die kit for that 13700K, but I thought, what would happen if I got a Hynix A-die kit, let's say a 7600, and tuned it for like really tight timings at 6200, as a lot of 7950X3D owners have actually done. And truthfully, I'm already aware of the answer. I know that it's not a big difference from just getting a generic 6000 or 6400 kit and tuning it with fairly tight timings rather than extremely tight timings. But for the sake of testing, I'll of course do that test when I do get that Hynix A-die kit, and I'll of course compare the 13700K with a very well-tuned 7600 kit against the 7950X3D, and I know it's not an apples to apples comparison, but I don't have a 13900K. But that sparked a video idea in my head. So as you can see, I've got pretty decent timings over here, and I'll be completely honest, these are essentially Buildzoid's timings with very minor adjustments just to fit my exact PC. And just to give us an example of what a minor adjustment would be, is that my T-Refi is 38,000 instead of 50,000 because my PC gets really hot. If you're interested to join a PC passionate community, make sure to join my Discord, Beefy Tech. I'll leave the link down in the description. This right here is the exact RAM kit I have. It's a Kingston Fury Renegade 32GB 6400 MHz CL32 dual channel kit, and I shit you not, it's probably one of the best bang for bucks kits out there. And off the bat, if you want to save money and get the best possible kit for the cheapest amount of money, this is 100% it. It is only for Ryzen 7000 in that it's not going to be good for Intel, because Intel really likes 7000 plus megahertz RAM, but I can highly recommend it as it works well on mine and it also looks great. Here's the thing though, regardless of what kit you get, be it this, a Hynix A-die or a generic 6000 kit, you will always want to tune your timings for Ryzen 7000. And this honestly should apply to any computer, Intel or AMD. But it is so easy to get these timings right here. This is, by the way, Ryzen Master, AMD's app for being able to check your CPU undervolt, which cores are sleeping, and all your timings and stuff, or the RAM. It's so easy to get these timings that I can 100% recommend for every single person out there with anything that is better than a 6000 CL36 to just copy these outright and have a good time. Because you yourself, as long as you have a 6000 CL36 or better, can easily copy these timings. And you don't need to then waste hundreds of dollars on Hynix A-die. You can just go get a $180 generic kit of M-die from Hynix, which is the 6000s generally, and you're gonna have a killer performer with very little money. This right here is the best priced Hynix A-die kit in my area. I mean, price to performance wise. As you can see, they even have it at CL3 instead of CL30 something. But I'm kidding, they made a typo over there. But this is a very good kit, most likely identical to a generic 7200 or 7600, just slightly overvolted. It doesn't say the voltage though. But it's a 7800, probably CL36 kit, which is extremely good. And as you can see, the price is quite hefty. That to US dollars will translate. Let me see where I have the thing. So my own kit costs $187. That one costs $341 equivalent of. So would you rather pay $181 for 99% of the performance, or go all the way, get that extra 1%, but pay $340? Now yes, there is a purpose to this kit. It's more meant for Intel than it is for downclocking it to 6200 and then tightening the timings a lot on a Ryzen CPU. But it has a purpose, because Intel, without a kit as nice and fancy as this, falls back on performance heavily. And look, AMD fanboys and Intel fanboys, I would like you both to relax, because yes, AMD has the advantage of not needing fancy RAM to run at its maximum performance, but that goes both ways. It's also a disadvantage, because now AMD is stuck with the potential maximum 62 or 6400 kits, which are nowhere near as fast as a 7800 kit. So yeah, you don't need the 7800 kit for all of your performance, but that means that overall you're far more limited by your RAM than you would be on an Intel platform. But yet again, Intel without the fancy RAM is terrible. So it's both an advantage and a disadvantage to support the fancy RAM, as it costs a lot of money, but it can further increase performance much more over just stock performance, you know, of a 6800 kit or 6600 kit. So before you guys go and fight in the comments about how Intel or AMD is much better, keep that in mind, please. Now, here's something very important to keep in mind when you're buying these Hynix A-die kits. The G-Skill ones in specific actually run hotter than any other manufacturers that I know of. And the problem is that the G-Skill ones are the most prominent out of all of them. So if I were to, for example, go to this list over here that appears in Romania for me, most of these are G-Skill RAM kits. Yeah, there's obviously other manufacturers in here, but like a good half of them are G-Skill RAM kits, and they're also the best priced RAM kits for the performance. And the issue is that these do actually get hotter much quicker than the equivalent performers from other manufacturers. So be careful if you buy a G-Skill kit of any kind. You're risking not having as much overclocking headroom due to the fact that they get hotter. Now here is where things get interesting. This is American pricing though, so keep that in mind, but as you can see, this is a 32 gig kit, DDR5 6000 CL36 at $110, and it's EXPO rated. This means that more than likely you will be able to run the custom timings that I have here on my 6400 kit that is tuned down to 6000. So yes, I'm running my 6400 kit at 6000, but with these timings. You would be able to take this kit over here that is significantly cheaper, no RGB mind you, and most likely run the timings because it's an EXPO rated kit, and those tend to not have any issues with the custom timings over here. So yes, if you have an EXPO kit at 6000 CL36, pause the video right now, copy my timings exactly in your BIOS, and you're pretty much good to go. If you're looking to get the best bang for buck, this is definitely it. If you still want some RGB, I highly recommend the Kingston Fury Renegade. Depends what price it is, obviously, so don't get it if it's overpriced in your local area. But if you have it for a good deal, highly recommend. The RGB looks really good, and the kit performs really well and doesn't get hot at all. If you guys want Hynix A-die on a budget, and it still looks good and performs well, I highly recommend the Corsair Vengeance RGB. This 7200 kit at CL34 is pretty much the exact same die as the 7800 CL36 or 7600 CL36. It's just with adjusted timings and voltage, same exact die. Not only that, you get it cheaper, and it's Corsair Vengeance, so it's not gonna get nearly as hot as the G-Skill ones. And most likely, if you're buying this for Ryzen 7000, you would not be using it at 7200. You take it down to 6200, 6000, or 6400, and then tune the timings accordingly. Of course, though, you have to keep in mind that if you're doing 6200 or 6400, the timings I have here may not apply directly because I'm running my kit at 6000. But given this is Hynix A-die, you might be able to pull even significantly tighter timings than I have in my Ryzen Master showing currently. Hynix A-die is by far the best for both tight timings and overall frequency, but M-die is the definite best budget option to do really low timings at a lower frequency, which is more designed for Ryzen 7000. What you want to avoid is getting a 5600 MHz CL30 kit with the promise that it has lower latency as a result of the lower timings, and then not being able to tune it to 6000 and being stuck with a much slower kit. You always want to just go for the higher frequency so you can tone down the frequency and then lower the timings, even though I know there's EXPO kits that say they are maximizing the performance. But if you buy a 6400 kit and then use these custom timings or even better timings than these, you'll always get better performance than any EXPO preset ever. And just so you guys don't think I'm pulling stuff out of my ass about the G-Skill kit, I have a G-Skill 6000 instead of 5600 CL36 kit that runs at 135 volts. And I shit you not, when I put it in my main rig with a 4090, and I tried to copy the Ryzen Master timings that I have on this kit currently, within about an hour and a half, I had heat issues as a result of the 4090 making the inside of the case really hot and the G-Skill kit anyway being worse for cooling. And that's kind of unfortunate because it means you can't really even do the timings I have on screen with the G-Skill kit just as a result of it overheating from all the heat generated by the 4090. But the kit that I'm using currently, which is that Kingston kit, has absolutely no issue taking the heat, and it's also a far safer bet because you've got extra frequency to play around with. In fact, on my 13700K build, this exact kit over here ran 6800 CL34, no issues. I am going to probably buy this DDR5 7200 CL34 kit myself and test it myself. I've done thorough research through YouTube videos and people's personal experiences on Reddit, and this seems to be the best choice. So I'm gonna go with what I'm saying that is good and buy it myself, because I don't actually have a Hynix 8-die kit for the 13700K, which has always held back its performance. So I'll make up for that and buy this kit and test it thoroughly. Not only that, this exact kit is gonna end up going in my main rig. Now yes, I'm fully aware, I'm already 99% of the way of the performance there. I know it's not going to make a big difference in performance, but I want to just confirm it. I'm going to run this at 6200 with tight timings that are even tighter than I have in Ryzen Master, and I'll see how big of a difference it makes for a 7950X3D. Anyway guys, I hope this video was helpful to help you gauge what RAM kits you should get for yourself, and to keep in mind if you're going to make an upgrade in the future, to be wary of G-Skill's overheating issues. I'm aware a lot of you would already have G-Skill kits and most likely don't have issues with them, but you have to remember this is a per case basis type of thing, to where if your room gets hotter or your PC gets hotter, that G-Skill kit might have issues while others might not, so I just thought I'd warn you guys as I've had that experience with my own G-Skill kit. Anyway, have a good one guys, enjoy and peace.